Here's my All right. Welcome to June's Roundtable. My name is Esmeralda Bonk, and I am the Roundtable Commissioner for Wapula-Nassau District. My counterpart, Angelique Minette, Ishkote's Roundtable Commissioner, is not with us this evening. She decided to do some commissioner training over at Philmont, and we wish her the best of luck. But that's okay. I've got her better half, Kyle, who will be assisting me this evening. So don't worry, she may appear when we least expect it. So please prepare yourself for the pledge, oath, and law.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right, please prepare yourself for prayer. We have Don Malaris to lead us in prayer today.
Good evening. I'm Don Malaris. Thank you for having me here tonight to offer up the opening prayer for June Roundtable. Please remove all non-religious headwear and prepare yourself for prayer. Heavenly Father, with reverent hearts, we, as your many children of many faiths, unite for a common purpose. We gather up together to offer this humble prayer and thanksgiving. As Scouters, we are thankful for the many gifts and talents that you have given each one of us. We are grateful and thankful for the freedom that we have to be able to join together as a team to accomplish more than we ever could alone. We are thankful for the opportunity to be able to serve the young people, the parents, and the Scouters of our community, for the opportunity to see the joy in the many young people that become excited and grow from this program and meet the challenges that they are given. We are thankful for being reminded by the ceremonies and the legends of those who have served. But most importantly, Lord, we are so thankful for the gift of knowing that every prayer that we offer up is heard by you. Lord, we continue to pray and ask that you continue to guide our paths, keep our thoughts pure, give us those servant leadership hearts so that we can continue to serve our communities to the fullest capacity that we can. Give us the strength and the endurance to do all that we need to do. And in your name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Don from Troop 2562 in Shorewood. And now we have our info minute with Angie. See, I told you she'd show up.
And now, through the magic of pre-recorded video, I'm bringing you your info minute. First, a reminder about current Rainbow Council COVID restrictions. If you are 2 weeks out from your second shot, you are considered fully vaccinated and no longer have to wear a mask at Scout meetings or outings. If you are not vaccinated, you still have to wear a mask at all Scouting functions. Where your unit meets or your charting organization may have rules to wear masks. If so, you do need to follow those guidelines. Your vaccination status is on the honor system. As Scouts, we are trustworthy. Please be considerate of others and keep in mind that many of our youth are not vaccinated yet. Yes, you can still wear a mask if you are vaccinated at meetings and outings. The following is still in effect. Keep that temperature and attendance log. Room capacity has been expanded to 60%. Make sure your chartered organization is on board with larger meeting sizes. If they are not, you cannot do it. There is no exception to this. Some organizations are still requiring virtual meetings even. Wash your hands and have hand sanitizer available. Clean your meeting space before and after. For camping, you are allowed to do group cooking again. Non-vaccinated scouts and scouters should continue to wear a mask for this activity and then socially distance 6 feet apart while eating. Tents are still single occupancy unless family members are sharing a tent. And again, that still means you need to follow YPT guidelines for tenting, meaning if you are at the Scouts BSA level, you are not, adults are not allowed to share tents with youth. And the 2-year apart age distance still applies at the Scouts BSA level. All changes that happen to the that happen with the COVID restrictions are shared as soon as possible on Council's page, Facebook page, and Roundtable page. The website does take a little bit longer to update, so make sure you're checking social media and checking your email for anything that may go out. Next, we're talking about the Summer of Service. National has announced the summer of 2021 to be designated as the Summer of Service. As we have throughout our history, Scout families are answering the call to work together in service of the greater good. From public health drives to caring for the environment to assisting neighbors in need, Scouts have always been a force for positivity and goodness in our communities. Go to the Summer of Service website and find out how your unit can get started earning their Summer of Service patch. Wood Badge. The Wood Badge early bird registration has closed, but we are still accepting people to sign up for Wood Badge and encouraging people to sign up for Wood Badge, which is a 5-day course taken over 2 weekends for any pack, troop, crew, ship, or board leader 18 years or older, fully trained in their position and looking to increase their leadership skills. Scouters interested in taking Wood Badge are committed to the program and want to do good things and make a positive impact. Wood Badge will be held October 9th through 11th and October 23rd and 24th, and registration is open online. Summer camp. Summer camp season is upon us. Yay, we get to go back to camp. Don't forget those Part C medical forms. If you are going to week-long sleepaway camp, you do need those, and they need to be signed by your physician for both adults and youth. Adult leaders attending Scouts BSA summer camp, be sure to check that large assortment of leader training available during your stay at camp. And please remember that if you are going to be away from your troop for a large portion of time to attend one of those trainings, you do need to make sure you have a second adult present for your youth. In other programming news, 19 Cub Scout adventures will be retired on May 2022. See Scouting Wire for more info. Belt loops will be available until they are sold out, and there is no word if they are replacing those adventures with anything else. We're also looking forward to see you soon for some weird science, Cubs. For now, we have some great news to share. Registration has been extended for both Joliet and Bolingbrook day camp locations. You can now register for Joliet through June 9th and Bolingbrook through June 16th. We've added youth volunteers to the registration forms, so Scouts BSA who are first class or have the recommendation of their Scoutmaster may now volunteer to help run program stations. Great service hours. We have also just opened the Tot Lot registration. Tot Lot is available to siblings whose parent is volunteering for that day. The cost of Tot Lot is $5 per day. Volunteers are still needed for all Cub day camps, but especially medics. If you're interested in being a medic for camp and have first aid training, please contact the Service Center. Slammers sleepover. Joliet Slammers are having a Scout sleepover on August 14th. This is an event not run by Rainbow Council. It is run by the Joliet Slammers. So if you are interested in participating, it's for all Cubs on up through Scouts BSA and adults, please go to the Slammers website for more information. Jamboree. Jamboree is also started for the year. Jamboree is worldwide Scout 10-pin bowling competition. Scouts from all over the world are competing. You put together a team of your youth and go to any bowling alley of your choice, and it can be Cubs on up through Scouts BSA and Venturers to form teams. You keep track of your score and you enter them on the Jamboree website, and there are prizes and bragging rights. Scout Life has a reading contest that is available through the Scout Life magazine. There are some cool prizes, including a gift certificate to Scout Shop. So check your child's Scout Life magazine for more information. Finally, do you have anything to add to our info minute? Please don't hesitate to reach out to Esmeralda or I, and we can add it for next month's info minute.
Thank you, Angie. You have been missed today. All right, this month's Scout Law Point is brave. From the Scout Handbook, a Scout can face danger although he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him. From a youth gathering up the courage to look under their bed at night to an old man sharing stories of his life while on his deathbed, bravery comes in many shapes, sizes, and degrees. Bravery is certainly not the lack of fear, but the strength to overcome that fear. Without fear, there's no need for bravery. Fear is a feeling you have based on your surroundings. If you sense danger, you feel fear. It's a natural and useful feeling. When a Scout experiences fear, they can either control it or let it control them. Courage controls fear and allows the Scout to keep a cool head, rise above the danger, and act in a brave way. When fear controls the person, they lose their sense of honor and their gut instinct of self-preservation takes over, causing acts of cowardice. As a Scout matures, they must understand the tense feeling that comes up in their body when they experience fear. They need to train themselves to respond to that feeling with a courageous rather than cowardly response. The specific situation does not matter. What is fearful for one person with little experience may be of no concern for someone else that has been through it before. Shooting a rifle, swimming underwater, climbing a tree, giving a speech, hiking at night are all examples of tasks that may be quite comfortable for one person, but terrifying to another. Bravery is not needed for the one, but necessary for the other. A Scout's moral ideals also help them to be brave when faced with challenges whose overcomes may only ever be known to them. Whether walking past a crying child without stopping or glancing at a classmate's test, fear can make us take the easiest, safest path. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of looking foolish. Fear takes many forms and may cause bad habits. Making excuses and blaming others for mistakes rather than accepting the blame for actions and apologizing for mistakes are habits formed of fear. The Scout brave enough to accept consequences of his decisions is brave indeed. A Scout is brave. So this month's Den Leader Award Training Award is the Den Leader Training Award. This award recognizes Den leaders who have completed training, tenure, performance requirements. It is available for lions, tigers, wolf, bear, Webelos, Den leaders, and can be earned in each position, but tenure must be completed separately for each award. In addition to a certificate, a yellow square knot or blue background is available to wear on the uniform. A similar knot is also available for the BSA unit leaders. And that is can also be found in the same location as this one. Requirements are exactly the same. The only difference is the knot is on a is green knot, square knot with a beige background. So something to look for if you're trying to award something to your awesome leaders that you have in your unit. For the Scout Awards, we have the Conservation Good Turn Award. It is an opportunity for Cub Scout packs, troops, Scout troops, and venture crews to join with conservation or environmental organizations, federal, state, local, or private, to carry out a conservation good turn in their home communities. Conservation and environmental agencies typically have a backlog of needed projects that have been unable to carry out for lack of funding or volunteers. The list of possible good turn projects is limited only by the needs of the agency and the willingness of the scouting unit. The scouting unit contacts a conservation agency and offers to carry out a good turn project. The agency identifies a worthwhile and needed project that the unit can accomplish. Working together in the local community, the unit and the agency plan the details and establish the date, time, and location for carrying out the project. Completed applications for the Conservation Good Turn are to be turned into the Council Service Center. So for more information, always go out to my.scouting.org and you can download all the application information that you need. For our next segment, we have some helpful information about membership by Melissa Rubin.
Hey everyone. For this month's membership minute, we're going to talk about national and their increasing annual fees. So fees are going up this year, $6 for most scouts, $3 for explorers, and for leaders. The new annual rates are $75 and $45 respectively. National has put out a few articles about the need for the increase to offset rising costs of the program, youth protection, and insurance. They have also made it clear that the fees will not be used to offset the cost of the Victims' Compensation Fund. But how do you budget for the increase, and how do you communicate it to your potential and current families? My best advice is be honest. The good news is that the increase is being announced now, and you have time to plan and communicate your own budgets. Most importantly, talk to your families. Try not to focus on the fact that scouting is still cheaper than many sports and other activities. There are many families that are already making the tough decision on which activity they can afford. Instead, focus on what families get for their money, the values and life lessons that come from scouting, as well as the benefits to the family and community. When looking at your own budget and due structure, do your families prefer one where it's all included and they pay once, or a pay-as-you-go plan where there is little upfront cost and they pay for only the activities they actually attend? There's no right answer, only the answer that works best for your unit. I'm actually currently running a survey right now for all Key 2s. I think they're going to put the link in the chat for me, to anonymously tell us how they are running their budgets. The answers will be shared with all of us so that we all can see the different options that are being used across our council. But actually now we've done a lot of talking. We wanted to open it up for a little bit of discussion here. So if anybody has any comments or questions, go ahead and unmute, or you can put them in the chat. Anybody?
Hi, I have a question. This is Michelle Zappi from Troop 382 in Mantino. So you said, so when it comes to rechartering, so it was $75 a year for scouts, each scout, $45 to recharter for registered adults. For
It's
leader.
72 and 45.
Oh, hello. Thank you. 72. I need to clean my glasses. Okay, I see it very clear. 72 and 45. Okay, and then the fee to do the processing of the recharter will be $75.
Yeah, that's for the whole unit to do the recharter. And I believe that was the fee for, at least for last year. I don't know how long it's been, $75. And there also is that one-time joiner fee of $25. Most scouts BSA don't have to pay that because that's for brand new scouts to any scouting program. So if they're bridging from Cub Scouts, or if they're returning from a long time away from scouting, they don't have to pay that, but brand new scouts would pay a one-time $25 fee.
And what if it's a brand new leader?
Only for new scouts.
Okay.
I thought the $25, and not to, you would know this better than I would, but I thought $25 were for all new members.
I
including
believe it's
Scouts.
only new. Can you pull the infographic up? I think it's only Scouts.
When you join, no new members pay joining fee in addition to membership fee. That's what it says.
I believe
Sorry.
it's only Scouts, but I can definitely check that.
And that's in addition to the $45.
Yes.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm asking is I just registered a new leader and I got charged $25. So
Well, then you are right. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
It is $25.
No, it says no joining fee for adult volunteers, exploring participants, the big gray bar there. You should
Oh,
not
there you
have
go.
gotten
Maybe I need to clean my glasses.
charged.
No joining fee for adults exploring.
Trust the
participants.
infographic. It should know all. Yes.
Okay.
Are we able
There
to
you
get a copy, or is this somewhere that we can get this?
That is, I actually found that online, but yes, we can absolutely get that out. I can actually, I have the link for it. I'll put it in the chat in a minute.
Oh, that'd be
but
great.
Yeah, there's a PDF with this thing, and there was a whole article. I just Googled 2020 BSA dues, and there was an article that talked about what's included, FAQs about why they're doing it, and what it's, that it's not going for the victims compensation fund, and then it had a link to that PDF. So I'll find that article and I'll put it in the chat as well.
And you briefly mentioned having people pay as they go. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
So I've started previewing some of the answers from our survey. So thank you for those units that have filled it out. There's still plenty of time. It's due at the end of the month and hopefully will be shared by early July. Some units are purely charging for the recharter fee. So when you join in August, or when they ask for a payment in the fall, they're asking you to pay your recharter fee and then pay as you go for activities. So this camp out's going to be $15. This, you're going to pay $5 for your Pinewood Derby card or whatever it is. Every single activity has a fee. And there are several units that are doing it that model. They only charge what they're going to be asked to pay at recharter, and then they charge for activities that are happening. So that is one model. A lot of them are also using fundraising to help cover costs for a lot of these things. And again, the full results will be shared once the survey is closed.
One thing that my unit does is that the Scouts pay a weekly due.
Mm-hmm.
That covers their portion of their recharter.
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of work that out, okay, dues are so right now dues are $2 a week. For Scouts BSA, that's nothing. And we removed paying for the adult members, and they had to pay for their own or pull it out of their Scouts, Scout account. But that way the kids have they have ownership of actually wanting to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets charged every week, whether they show up or not. So that helps with that recharter, and we know that it's coming out. And then when there's increases in fees, like with national, then the unit pays the difference. So.
And that it seems to be a popular Scouts BSA model, is to have the Scouts pay a very small weekly fee or monthly fee. I think some units are still allowing you to do a one lump. If you don't want to have to remember to pay $8 a month, you can prepay for 6 months. I'm sure the units appreciate having that influx of cash, but yeah, there are units that are doing it that way too. So that's another, or other units that are offering payment plans. So they know it's going to be $150 for the year. If you wanted to do 3 installments of $50, you can. So those are other ways to kind of pay as you go.
So they would actually come to the meeting and they'd have in hand $2 each?
Yep.
Or take from their Scout account? Wow.
No, they pay the $2. I mean, granted, if they forget, then they tell the treasurer, can you just take it out of my Scout account? But it's for them to understand that they need to pay. This is a Scout is thrifty. They got to figure out how to pay for what they want. So it gives them that ownership of budgeting, of paying for things that they want. There's a lot of things that goes into having those Scouts come in with that $1 or $2,
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them get allowances, and so they'll, okay, here's your allowance, you got to figure out how you pay for your dues this month. That's part of that learning process as well.
Yeah. And I know families too that don't want to pay allowances, that, you know, we all make the mess, we should all clean the mess, and I don't get paid to clean my part of the mess, but the allowance is the scouting, so that, you know, by doing your chores, by doing everything else, you're getting those $2 a week to pay for scouting at least.
So it's a conversation to have with parents about having them, you know, come up with that weekly fee. It's an idea, but, you know, just trying to instill that Scout is thrifty.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are also units that prefer the other model. There's a lot of families, even with that model, that'll say, can I just pay the whole year so I don't have to remember next month? So there are a lot of families that prefer the all-inclusive model, that, you know, you paid a whole bunch of money up front, and then, oh, that camp out looks fun. Oh, that event looks fun. Let me just sign up for that and not have to worry about coming up with, you know, $35 next week for that event. So again, talk to your families. I mentioned, I think it was last month, surveying families. It's a great opportunity here, especially with fees. See what they prefer.
Mm-hmm.
We take that. Yeah, just that. We just take that a step further. We tell them you have to sell XYZ amount of popcorn a year, and that covers your dues and everything.
Yeah.
That's instead of bringing in, you know, we don't want to be collecting money every week. You know, we rather just get in a meeting. Okay, you have to sell hypothetically $350 of popcorn this year.
Yeah.
Done. See you later. That'll take care of your patches, your awards, and your recharter fee. Now, if you sell more than that, it's your responsibility to tell us you want to take it out of your Scout account or whatever when we go on a camping trip or whatever activities we do.
Yeah, it's very encouraging to see.
Otherwise, we build the parents.
It's very encouraging to see how many units are offsetting or either reducing or completely eliminating dues or fees with fundraising.
Yeah, that's
popcorn.
Yeah, and that was from our parents, and my parents said, no, we don't want to collect dues. We'll build it into the popcorn, and you know, we have 2 fundraisers a year: popcorn and pancake breakfast. But we all know how that went the last couple of years.
And then there's, you know, there's other families that just don't want to fundraise, and they're like, how much can I just write a check? So it works well for both groups too.
So what happens if they don't sell enough popcorn?
We build in the difference. We build in the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. Some units do one price, like Buck said, $350. That's it. If you make $350, great.
I pull that out. We just take the recharter fee and tack on 10% just to make sure we have nothing away.
Right. So whatever the number is, some units will just say that's the number. If you hit that number, you're done. If you make more than that, more prizes for you, whatever Scout account, some other things. If you don't hit that number, buy more popcorn or pay us our dues. Some units that set a higher limit also will offer a midway point. You know, if you sell $100, then you get X amount off of your dues. So that's another way to do it too.
Yeah, we do. I think we do $250 or $300. They're mandatory, or strongly encouraged to sell $300 worth of popcorn. And it's like our pancake breakfast. You're strongly encouraged to sell $50 worth of tickets. See you later. Done.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you're budgeting with popcorn this year, it's a third of the money would go to your unit. So, you know, $350 is a little over $100 to your unit.
Right.
So if you're charging $150 for dues, you probably have to increase that popcorn minimum a little bit.
That's what time. Yep, we wanted to bring that up in the committee meeting. But I think we built it in. I think like I said, we take the majority out of popcorn, and then just to put the icing on the cake with pancake breakfast, just to get them over the hump.
Yeah, there's also that spreadsheet that's on that you can use to help budget with popcorn for dues and stuff. So that actually calculates that third breakdown for popcorn. And it says how much each Scout needs to sell in popcorn. So that's another good tool in unit to have. So not that I don't want to discourage this conversation, but we do need to move on because we have a lot more information to share.
I'll put my email in the chat. If anybody has any further questions about any of this, feel free to reach out anytime. And I will, during the next segment, I will look up that infographic and the article associated with it and put that in the chat as well.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along. So this month's safety moment is very appropriate with units beginning to camp and communal cooking is allowed. Yay! Propane stoves. As pictured, there are a variety and types of propane stoves, but can be very dangerous if not used properly. Stoves made for the outdoors can also extend the range of your travels by giving you a reliable way to generate heat anywhere and in any weather. This is a quote from the 2014 edition of the field book, Scouting's Manual on Basic and Advanced Skills for Outdoor Adventure. A propane camp stove has a lot of versatility. 2-burner propane stoves tend to be used more for base camping where the stove is set up and used in one location during the camping trip. There are some single burner propane stoves, although they tend to be a bit bulky and not always suitable for long backpacking trips. In this BSA safety moment, we'll discuss the following ways to stay safe while using propane stoves. Always read the manufacturer's instructions before using a stove and follow those instructions. Never use a stove inside or near a tent, not even under a dining fly. Use only the manufacturer's windscreens and never place a single burner stove inside a large pot to block the wind. This could lead to an explosion of the canister. Don't overload the stove with a heavy pot and never leave a stove unattended. Let the stove cool completely before you open it. Change fuel canisters or put it away. Keep all propane canisters away from sources of heat, even if they are empty. When changing canisters, or if you suspect a problem, test for leakage by using a solution of 1 tablespoon of dish soap mixed with 1 cup of water. Lightly sprinkle the soap water solution over the connections and fittings between the propane canister or tank and the stove. If you see bubbles from any connection, turn off and disconnect the propane canister or tank and reconnect properly. Most connections should be hand tightened. Small propane canisters should not be refilled. Many states have laws regulating the types of propane tanks that can be refilled. Visit a local authorized propane dealer for details. So there you have it for our safety minute. So for our general topic, we're going to have a discussion on photo etiquette. So we're going to do it a little different this time. We're going to go ahead and give you a scenario, and we're going to discuss and help each other how to solve this or how to handle this scenario. So here's your scenario on photo etiquette. You are an adult leader and a parent from your unit reaches out to you with concerns about their child's picture posted on social media during a scouting event. They explained that due to an unfortunate custody concern, their child is not allowed to have a social media presence. So here's your question. How would you address this with your unit leaders and families? And how would you handle this to not exclude scouts and families? I'm gonna stop sharing so I can see you guys. And let's have this conversation. How would you handle this scenario?
Is there a form signed? Period. Is there a form signed?
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
Any other suggestions? Besides the A form?
Sorry.
It's okay. No other suggestions? Brian, did you have your hand up or is that my hand? No, that's my hand. Oh, well.
It's a hoof.
It's a hoof. I was trying to volunteer Brian. Sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to volunteer you. Sorry. This is a scenario. This is what we're dealing with right now with such a large social media presence. We will be encountering these possible scenarios of how are you going to discuss this possibility, even if it was signed or not signed? How are you going to have this conversation with your unit leaders and their families?
So one suggestion I heard was to blur the face. So you take a group picture and you find out that the kid can't be in the picture for whatever reason. You can blur the face. So at least you're saving their online presence. I personally question if that is also making the scout feel excluded. And it doesn't look great for your Facebook group photo with 35 faces and one blurred. But I'm not sure. I think if a family truly did not want their child to be in the photo, I would really hope the child would be aware, especially at the Scouts BSA level, and the family would be more conscious of just not participating in the photo taking.
We had a few years ago at a PAC level, we had a mom that was, I don't want to say dead set against photos on Facebook, but the way we approached it was, here's the photo. Do you want to inspect it before we post it? Is this okay? And she said, no, we wouldn't post it. And if it's okay if it was just the PAC, that's fine. But it was if it's a PAC with a bunch of other in a public spot, then she wanted to look at it, inspect it before it was posted.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Someone in a different conversation, someone had said that they preview and the photos before they even posted, whether it's a private Facebook page or a public one.
Right.
It's just that's the final say was the families. Now, one thing that we need to start encouraging our unit leaders is to encourage those families to come forward and tell the units their wishes. Okay. So, Buck, not that I didn't want, I snubbed your response because it wasn't. It's just I wanted to have this conversation before I showed this. But this is the Part A medical form, and as most of us already are well aware, there is that disclaimer about giving authorization to the local council and Boy Scouts of America to take photos, videos, blah 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 blah. If for some reason you do have some parent or family that says, nope, don't want it, don't need it. The one thing that we are telling everyone is below the blue box is a list participant restrictions, and to list it there and pretty big, no photos taken of my, no photography, no videos, whatever, just to put it there. Okay. I also suggest that you highlight it. So that way, whoever's looking through these these forms it's there. That's the first thing you're going to see. It's something that's not in blue or black or white. It's there. They're going to see it. It's in their face. If they're taking photocopies, because some units take photocopies, ones that's permanent stays in your meeting space, one goes into the trailer, that it stays highlighted. It is in there. It's visible when people are going through it. The other suggestion that we're making is that if you are going to a scouting event, whether it's per unit or per council or national, whoever's reviewing that document, that it is said this participant, because it could be an adult too, is not allowed to have pictures taken. And I've heard from some councils will have that participant wear bracelets so they know whoever is taking pictures. If they see that bracelet, don't take a picture of that participant. And that's something that needs to happen organically as we move forward, because this is the way of the land. Unfortunately, we do not have control of personal Facebook or social media pages. So one thing that you can probably communicate with your families is to say, hey, best practice, if it's not your kid or it's not you participating, either don't take a picture of that participant or blur their face out or put a smiley face over it if they're going to put it on their own personal page.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's not a box that they check. It's just correct. They just have to, I know there's that one that says, if there's any restrictions, and then there's the box that says none.
None. Don't check the none. Don't check the none. Just
if they don't want a picture taken, they would not check the none, and then they would say, I don't want, my Scout's picture on social media.
Or just not even social media, just no pictures.
No photos.
Pictures. No photos, no videos. Nope.
Okay. But that's
and then
okay. There's no box to say that.
There is no box that said that. No. So this is
I wasn't missing.
So I'm sorry. Say that again.
That was what I saw last when I was reading the A. So I just want to make sure that wasn't something new or something I was missing.
No,
okay.
no. This is not. The one thing that we will say is do not cross this section out. Do not cross it out. So just list it here. Take the most obnoxious highlighter color that you can find. I usually use pink or purple to highlight things because those are colors that most people don't use. They usually use blue, they use pink, they use orange. I use pink or purple because it's obnoxious and it's something other than what's already on there, and it is very visible. So if you have any more concerns or you want more help or conversations about this, please reach out to your unit commissioner or reach out to Angie or I, and we will be happy to help you out in this section of the medical form. Now, another suggestion was given in a different conversation was that doing a family photo release because sometimes you have that Christmas party or that Halloween party or that picnic and siblings are around. You might want to do a release form for a family as well. So I know Melissa was going to share that with us.
I do have that. That was the suggestion from my former PAC. So I do have a copy of it if anybody would be interested. It basically repeats this language and asks that the family fill out all of the names for the parents and the siblings that may or may not attend any of the unit's events. And we make sure, I chase them down like you didn't list your daughter. Am I going to have to kick her out of the court of honor picture because she's not on this paper? So try to make sure we get a full set there so that if we don't have a Form A, which, that's another question. Should you have Form A for anybody that's attending a bunch of your events? But at least that gives us that photo permission. So if anybody's interested, my email is still in the chat. I would be happy to share that form with you.
Thank you, Melissa. So moving right along, just because I want to give time for our next thing, we have our breakout sessions on steps of the merit badge. And hey, do you recognize this person? It's our Angie. And she is now taking roles on the Roundtable Commissioners for BSA. So let's see what she has to say.
The merit badge constitutes one of the best and most widely known symbols of the Scouts BSA program. The badges allow a Scout to showcase all the new skills they learn on their Scouting journey. There are over 135 merit badges, with everything from archery to oceanography to welding. Each merit badge introduces a Scout to a potential lifetime hobby or serves as the inspiration for a future career. But did you know that there's much more to merit badges than providing opportunities to explore new fields of study? In fact, the steps of the merit badge process are specifically designed to teach Scouts social skills, self-reliance, and confidence in overcoming obstacles. Let's take a closer look at these steps. First, a Scout develops an interest in an area. Maybe they really enjoyed their troop's archery event last week and decided they wanted to learn more. The Scout approaches their unit leader, typically the Scoutmaster, to talk about working on the archery merit badge. This discussion offers a golden opportunity for the Scoutmaster to get to know the youth better. The Scoutmaster can use this time to provide inspiration and direction in the Scout's life. Think of this as a mini Scoutmaster conference, which can lead to conversations about talents, interests, goal setting, and personal challenges. Providing a signed blue card or approval by other recorded means without an accompanying conversation is a missed opportunity. Next, the unit leader signs a blue card or otherwise documents the conversation and provides the Scout with at least one counselor contact. This counselor is selected from a council-provided list of officially registered merit badge counselors. The Scout must contact the merit badge counselor themselves, with their parents' or guardian's supervision, to schedule a meeting. The meeting should not be set up by an adult leader or parent. Having to schedule their own meeting creates an opportunity for the scout to practice and grow comfortable with social and communication skills. Scouts especially benefit from the perspective of a counselor outside of their own troop leadership. Next, the scout's buddy, and the counselor meet, often several times, and always with two deep leadership. The counselor considers any work the scout has completed towards the merit badge and guides the scout in finishing the remaining requirements. A well-qualified counselor knows how to present the material in a way that captures the scout's interest, and the counselor also serves as a person of importance the scout can look up to and learn from. This mentoring relationship enables the scout to grow in confidence and motivation. If the requirements use words like show, demonstrate, or discuss, then the counselor must verify these requirements have been met. This can be difficult for a counselor to coordinate in a large classroom setting, and is why small group counseling sessions are strongly encouraged. The counselor approves completion once they are satisfied the scout has personally finished all the requirements. The scout then returns the signed blue card or other evidence of completion to the unit leader. Here again is another opportunity for the scoutmaster to connect with the scout. The scoutmaster can gently guide the scout to identify areas of personal improvement, room for growth, or additional interest. At this point, the scout is given back the applicant portion of the blue card or other hard copy record that the scout should retain, learning responsibility and organization when given the task of keeping track of their own records. And finally, the scout receives their merit badge, made all the more meaningful because of the scout's engagement in every step. Remember, earning merit badges should be scout initiated, scout researched, and scout learned. Please use the rest of this breakout session time to consider the questions on screen. Thank you for all you do for Scouting.
All right, so the questions that we need to discuss is how well do we let Scouts lead the merit badge steps in our unit? How about our district and council level? What can we do to connect more fully with our Scouts individually as part of the merit badge process? And what can be done to improve the process of ensuring our Scouts have completed all the requirements as written? So let's open up the floor and have a conversation.
One of the biggest complaints I get from Scouts in letting them, giving them direction, giving them the counselor name, and sending them off to try and contact a few counselors is maybe a quarter of the time they actually get a response from a counselor. So I don't have a good answer for that other than to keep trying other counselors. And generally I point them at somebody I know, so I know how to get a hold of them and bother them myself.
That's what we always do. It's like, okay, here's the number of a counselor, and then off to the other side is going, hey, by the way, this scout's going to call you. Please go ahead and answer that phone call. Right? Any other conversations? Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, yeah, I was going to pretty much what Kyle ended up with there is anytime I've had somebody come up to me and ask about, wanting to do a merit badge, and I know the counselor, what I'll do is I always contact the counselor as soon as I find out that they want to do it, saying, hey, you're going to get contacted from so-and-so, please, it's probably going to be a weird number, don't blow it off, take the call, just to give them a heads up so they can be prepared for it, so they're not called out of the blue. And with one of the other questions that was up there, we really try to do when we do merit badges to have, and I tell the scouts this all the time, and of course, how that goes. We like to use the worksheets. So counselors aren't talking at the kids. It facilitates a discussion more instead of, it helps keep them involved. So, you can get those the worksheets off of like meritbadge.org or whatever it is. So we try to encourage those just so, even if the kid's shy, he can at least look at his paper and just read off of that an answer that he might have just to help keep them engaged a little bit.
That's what I tell the younger scouts, especially because they hate doing the worksheets. It feels like schoolwork instead of doing scouting, right?
It
But
does a little.
I tell them the same thing. It's to help you have that conversation. So where it says discuss, yeah, you write down your thoughts there and then you discuss it with the merit badge counselor.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is where you can tell them, you do not need to write in full sentences if you do not want to. It's not going to be graded. Because I get it. I run into it with my own son, and it's like it's just a guide to, write those thoughts down and to kind of give you a way to kind of keep track of your thoughts, because there's a reason why my son is called Squirrel. So it keeps him focused. And that's what we need to encourage our students, sorry, teacher in here, our scouts to do. So how about, I know one of those is that phone call etiquette. I think sometimes you need to practice those phone call etiquettes that these kids don't do anymore. Everything's like a text or a meme or an emoji, and it's like, sorry, that does not translate correctly. So maybe having as funny as it sounds, having those practice conversations. Give them a banana. Hello. I think that might be another reason why a lot of these scouts don't reach out to those to those merit badge counselors. Not so much that, that's another issue of merit badge counselors not calling back, or answering phone calls, but more the fact of having them leave a message. Hello, my name is, I am from this and this, I am seeking whatever. I think if we give them a form, not a form, but like, these are the points you need to leave a message with, or this is how you start this conversation, because that art of communication is getting lost. I see it in the classroom where we're trying to have kids give a presentation or talk to me, or even simply, introducing your parents. This is mom and dad. Great. What's mom and dad's name? So I think we might need to have that conversation and that practice first before they pick up that phone call and say, hey, my name is, I'm looking for, or if they actually do answer, hello, may I speak to, I am looking for. I think that art is getting lost between text and emails, that maybe having those conversations is not a bad idea. And of course, then on the back end going, hey, by the way, this person's calling you. Because some of us screen our phones, do we not? And I think
it's a great idea. I think the art of the voicemail, I think, is completely going away. Nobody leaves a voicemail. People barely call people. Nobody leaves a voicemail. So
exactly.
And then we also how to send that voicemail.
And then sending those, and we all screen those phone numbers. So if you don't recognize the phone number, you're not going to answer it. So maybe on that back end as a unit leader going, hey, my name is so-and-so, you're going to get a phone call from this scout from this number, please answer. Might not be a bad thing either. We're not making the phone call, but we're just giving that merit badge counselor a heads up. It's like, if you're screening it, this is who is getting it from, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, those are my suggestions. I don't know about what you guys think.
Let me throw another loophole.
Go ahead, Beth.
Sorry, let me throw another real quick loophole. Mm-hmm. My son called someone, this was in the last few months, left a message. I was on the phone with him as a conference call because of YPT.
Right.
Left him a message who he was, to call him back on his cell phone or his dad's cell phone. Introduced me that, as Byron Olson. The individual didn't return a call. I called the individual myself saying, why haven't you called? And not that bluntly, but I get a message, not a message, but I get the response, quote unquote, I do not return calls to scouts. That's an adult leader. So what am I supposed to do with that?
But if your son gave the option of call my father
or him,
right?
He gave both cell phone numbers.
So that's something that's on the merit badge council, which is why one of the questions is what can be done to improve the process of ensuring our scouts have completed all the requirements as written. And one of the first ones is that contact thing.
And the individual knows me from council.
Right.
He knows who I am, and we've talked in the past. It's like, what are you supposed to do with that? I said, well, I politely discussed it with him. I go, he's calling you. This is his issue. This is, he's a scout. He's working on this. I was on the phone with him for YPT. So he gave you both phone numbers. So what was the issue? He goes, I think he said the message went in one ear, not the other, and blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's fine. Just, now you know who's going to call you. Now you can answer the call. If you need me on the call, he will come and get me. He will not do that call without me there. That's not a problem.
Right. And it's just like, hey, put me on voicemail, put me on, we have the capability of doing speakerphone now, right?
He was on speaker. That's not an issue.
Right. Everyone has speakerphones now.
Yep.
So that might be something, a conversations for any, sending out a blast to all the marriage badge counselors going, hey, that might be something that we need to make a suggestion on, and saying, hey, this is one way around it, because that YPT is always there, trying to get that workaround for them to have those conversations with those scouts, which I think another reason why a lot of people do the merit badge counts, big weekends or days or conferences or clinics and stuff, because it's just easier that way, because we're running into merit badge counselors are not answering phone calls. They don't answer phone calls because it goes in one ear, not the other, and they don't answer those. So I don't know what the solution is, but we can definitely come up with some solutions to push it up the chain and see what can happen.
Would an email not be an acceptable way for the scout to first reach out? Again, YPT, including the parent?
As long as and I usually tell my units to include the scoutmaster, the parent, before sending the email.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I mean, that's another etiquette tool the scouts do need to learn, sending professional emails and writing. We're not writing so many letters, but definitely emails. And learning how to write those as well.
Badge, I think, has them writing professional letters. Am I correct in saying that?
They have to write a letter to, like a letter to the editor.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
But still, even to reach out. Even to reach out to
I've read letters to the editor. They're not necessarily professional.
I guarantee you.
Well, we can change it, not change it, but kind of tweak it a little bit and going, okay, this is not to the editor, but this is to a merit badge.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like that would be the easiest way. Maybe it just gets lost just as easily. People get thousands of emails a day, spam, but maybe that wouldn't get lost as much, especially if you've got that many people copied on it. They know, Kyle's the leader. They know Kyle. They know the scoutmaster. They know whoever that was, involved in the unit as well as on this email. So hopefully they'll do it, and then perhaps set up a call after that through the email communication. Set up that meeting or that phone call to talk further.
Right. So, I think we've discussed this quite a bit, and I think we've come up with some ideas of how to have some workarounds to kind of help these scouts use that art of communication, whether it's written or spoken. But I'm sure that this will come around again, and that's what this is for: is to be able to have these conversations and come up with solutions, because more heads are better than one, and to just be able to create this stronger program for these youth. So not that I don't want to talk anymore, but we do want to keep this down to an hour, and we're about 2 minutes behind over. So unless there is something, we will stay on if you have any burning questions, but we are pretty much done.
I have a question. It's in regards to camping.
Sure.
Specifically tenting.
Yes.
RSR Rainbow Council runs it 1 person per tent as of now because of COVID, correct?
Right.
Is that a national? Is that an Illinois, or is that Rainbow?
That is Rainbow with IDPH guidelines.
Okay. That would make sense because 3 camps we're going to, they're 2 men to a tent, head to toe.
Right. So you technically,
It's outside of Rainbow.
technically, because you are a Rainbow Council unit, you still need to follow those guidelines that your council has
That was
given.
my next question. Okay.
A scout is trustworthy.
I understand. I'm just
So-
I was just making sure I was clear in my head when I was just making
Yes.
sure clear because somebody asked me and I said, well, I'll bring it up tonight. That's why I was
And that's when we first went on shutdown, and when we first our camps started closing down, and some other camps were not, and some of our units went to those other camps. Technically, they are under the jurisdiction of their council, but we can only do so much based on the scout leaders' leadership.
Understood. It was brought up to me, and I just wanted to make sure I was on the same page. That's all.
Okay.
Now, whether I agree with it or not, that's a completely different story.
That is completely different. Because what the information we give doesn't necessarily mean something we agree or
I'm just the
disagree on.
messenger. I'm
Exactly.
just the messenger.
Are there any
Okay.
other questions?
Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome.
You said it was fine to cook.
Yes,
Yes.
communal cooking is open.
I'm sorry, which one?
Communal cooking. In other words, patrol cooking is fine.
Community cooking. Every man for himself.
Great.
So you can start pulling up those grub master sheets and finding your grub master and coming up with the roster, the duty roster. Yeah, all good.
So they can cook as a patrol, as a troop, and share the food that is cooked.
Correct.
Okay.
There was the restriction though, keep in mind, you're still supposed to, if you're not vaccinated, be wearing the masks while you're in line and spreading out while you're eating too.
Correct.
Yes.
I know it was so long ago. It was like 40 minutes ago.
And keep in mind, Illinois is changing their rules tomorrow, so who knows
Correct.
what will
And any
happen
new changes
tomorrow.
will be out as soon as we get it. It'll be on emails and all Facebook pages and Roundtable and every which way possible to get this information out.
Especially with camp starting on Sunday.
Correct. Which my understanding is new camp guidelines are coming out on Monday. So
I already informed our troop, be ready, camp. There's going to be changes coming, so be prepared on Monday. And the changes can't go bad. It'll be all good, but just be
Yes.
prepared.
Be ready. Any other questions, concerns, comments, complaints, statements,
Thank you.
soliloquies, epilogues?
Thanks,
So-
Ez. Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome. Thank
Thanks,
you,
tech
Melissa.
guy.
All right. If there's nothing else, have a great evening, and we will see you in July.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for coming.
Bye, everyone.